junker red ved juletid.
Ching chang jingle tonight.
Og bring ham derved sneen hvid.
Ching chang jingle tonight.
Thank you for sticking with us, because we're going to talk about the topic of the episode show. TOTES, as we call it, topic of the episode show. Every single week we give out a weekly topic, and then we then talk about what we think about that weekly topic, as well as what you think about that weekly topic. You can tweet to us, you can Facebook at us, you can do whatever. You can talk to us in the chat on Twitch right now about your about what you feel about this topic. And the topic of the episode show this week is
rock stars of game development.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about the individuals that make games that excite us.
Yes.
And so I'm going to start mine. I'm going to go ahead and do my three alliteratively, because that's what I do. So my three are Miyamoto, Miyazaki, and Macmillan.
Very nice.
So Miyamoto, Nintendo, and Mario, and all the things. And plus, I love him as a person. He's so excited about video games, and I love that. And he's been excited about video games for so long, and that makes me super happy.
Yeah, he's like you said, he's excited about them. He genuinely loves gaming. He loves video games, and I think that it really shows in what he does. And Miyazaki is one of my picks as well, in regards to his game design, in regards to conveyance within a game, within levels, and multi-layered conveyance, because for him you get things on multiple levels depending on how deep you go, which I think is really cool.
He is also the first and only developer I've ever heard who says who believes that his interpretation of his own game is not necessarily the only correct one. That's beautiful.
I really respect that.
Because he says, I made a game. If you come up with an idea, with a theory, when you look at this game, awesome.
Yeah.
You do that. You interpret this game how you want to, and he creates games that allow for that type of intellectual stimulation and encouraging us to kind of figure out our own stuff.
Yeah.
Then my last one is Macmillan, because when the entire industry is going towards hand-holding and tutorials and teach you everything, he's like, all right, you get 5 levels, I'm going to teach you 5 mechanics. That's all the mechanics you need. Now I'm going to just throw the most tricky, difficult, stupid hard stuff at you. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
And
you learn the mechanics. Now it's all about challenging, beating.
And so like he takes a core gameplay concept and then expands on it. And then he goes in, and then we go into Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
And Binding of Isaac, the opening room that you start in has move, shoot, item, bombs.
That's it.
That's all there is. And you've got trinkets and passive items and different synergies with items that work, and you can break the crap out of the game. And but he respects the people that play his games, and he's not going to give you an easy mode. He's not going to give you a you almost won. He's like, no, you can do better.
Yeah.
I believe in you. He believes in me.
He does. He wants you to get better. He wants you to be the best version of yourself.
Also, he has a massive glass case at his house that is fan art that has been sent to him from his various games, and he keeps that. He shares that with the community. He finds it. He did an ARG game where he buried a statue in Santa Monica for people to find, and then like toward the end he was like, keep in mind, don't do anything illegal, please don't do anything illegal. But like he respects this massive community that's come out, and like and there are people who get super angry with him, and they're like, this 108 hours and the numbers, and like we delve too greedily and too deep, and we have a theory that means you're kind of a jerk. And he's like, all right, you interpreted it that way, okay, all right. but like the people that want to talk to him, that want to be there for him, he's all about that, and all of his games, particularly the ones leading up to those two, are intensely personal games.
Yes.
And he has things to say about the industry, and he puts those through the game. And if you don't get it, okay, I still hope you liked my game.
Yeah, exactly.
And so yeah,
it's that honesty he's very straightforward and honest and open. But the fact that he respects us to the level of keeping and framing and having a, you know,
yeah,
we're anyone who sends him fan art is honoring him, and he's honoring them in return.
Well, and also he's working on Afterbirth Plus right now, and I swear I'll stop talking about him in a minute.
And let me actually talk.
Right. But Afterbirth Plus, he said, look, I feel like I've kind of run out of ideas. I'm gonna be going through the mods, and if I find stuff I like, I'll put it in the game. It'd be fine. And
that.
yes, because the community has become a force unto itself, and he is embracing that, working with that, and honoring other people who have ideas that gel well with his ideas.
Yeah,
and that's really awesome.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that I will keep buying his stuff and keep giving him money.
Exactly. I have a list, short, actually slightly larger than yours, because I want to name off two people first.
Okay.
Because these are people that they come up a lot when it comes to game rock stars.
Okay.
There aren't a lot.
Yeah.
Right. It's in my opinion that you can say to hardcore gamers that immediately they know who you're talking about. I mean, it's not like a list of actors or directors. And I wanted to mention these are my honorees for a specific reason, and they are Richard Garrott, and Lord British, and Peter Molyneux. And the reason that I wanted to mention them is because they were ridiculously ambitious, and their projects may not be exactly what they wanted and what they told us.
But they're always stretching. They're always reaching.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to give them that honoree because people make fun of Molyneux a lot for Fable.
Yeah.
Make fun of him a lot for that because basically he did what No Man's Sky did. He said we have X, Y, Z, and all the rest of the alphabet, and really you only had X, Y, Z. And he was promising things that weren't in the game.
Yeah.
And then the next game he would have some of those things that he wanted to be in that.
Well, and one of the things that you hear a lot of times when you're listening to developers doing honest conversations about stuff is like they say that 70% of what they want to put into the game doesn't make it.
Yes.
Because game development is hard as hell.
Yes, it is. But to say, we're trying this, we'd like to do this, we're not sure, that's the way you should approach it, and he didn't. The other people that I wanted to mention on here are, and these are actually some of my favorites. Tim Schafer has been one of my favorites forever. His work with LucasArts it's amazing. Like I mentioned before, Full Throttle being my favorite of the LucasArts point and click stuff.
Yeah.
His work on that and Monkey Island and Psychonauts. Psychonauts is great, and Brutal Legend. I loved Brutal Legend.
Yeah.
And I think that he is an icon as well of gaming, and I really enjoyed like a lot of his work. And speaking of icons, because he just got the game icon award is Hideo Kojima.
And Chris White in our comments brought him up. He said, my personal two are Hideo Kojima and Koji Igarashi. Both the Metal Gear series and Castlevania games were some of my favorites. I
forgot about Arashi. Hideo has continued. He's been working on this series for 30 years almost. He worked on Metal Gear. I think in total 27 years or so. He worked on Metal Gear and kept working on Metal Gear games. But even with the contrived, confusing story, the ambition of telling a story
it comes
like
back
this.
to the scope of what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And one of the other things about it is, and this was mentioned when they were actually giving him the award, Jeff Keighley gushed on about him, and as rightly he should, because we did not hear any of this from Hideo.
Yes.
People are having to dig to find out what he went through while he made the game. He was like, I'm making a game. And then the fuck Konami we try not to swear, but every once in a while,
Yeah.
that particular hashtag, the Fuckonami code is going up. He still had access to his Twitter. He had literally millions of people following him.
Yeah.
And he sat.
Yep.
He waited. He has escaped from that. He is no longer bound or beholden to Konami in any way. And still, a year later, he has not said anything negative about them. Like,
Yeah.
he just sits there. And he's like, I'm making games.
Yeah.
I make games. And, like, for that level of character, because that's something that goes above and beyond.
Yeah.
Past game development.
Yeah.
To just being a good human being.
And he could have jumped in and trashed Konami. He could have trashed specific people that worked there. And he was the better man. I mean, in so
Absolutely.
many ways. He said
he took the high road, which was not to get involved. And he gets to the end of it and he's like, I'm making a different game.
yeah.
Come along with me on this journey. And he invites us to that.
And I cannot wait. I'm glad that Sony's paired with him, and I'm glad that he's going to be able to do this
And get to work with Guillermo.
Yes,
Because those two created my favorite, one of my like top 3 favorite gifs of all time. Because when he puts his hands up to his eyes, that was hilarious, and I love that.
Well, and Guillermo didn't know.
Yeah.
Guillermo didn't know that he had the eyes on his hand. They were talking about, what's your favorite? Hideo, what's your favorite Guillermo creation or thing? And he just.
Yeah, it's
so good.
It's fun.
I'm glad that Guillermo is getting to do this because he was so frustrated. He's tried to do 2 different video games. Neither one worked. So this is third attempt, and I'm really excited about it.
And Sony has demonstrated that they are willing to keep throwing money at a project until it comes out.
Yes.
Last Guardian.
So I'm completely fine with that. So we talked about Hideo. We talked about Tim Schafer.
Igarashi also is kind of an earlier version of Miyazaki because the level of storytelling that is in the Castlevania games, because they didn't have a lot to work with, but like when you look at the map and the way that those things play out, so much of the storytelling is through the environment and through the way that happens. And okay, one sentence on Miyazaki and then I'll be done. Miyazaki, again, with respect to his customers, with respect to the gaming community, created something super hard. We now have a genre.
Yes.
Because of him that I think might have died out if it wasn't for his vision.
If it wasn't, I agree. If it wasn't for his vision, if it wasn't for how well he executed it, I think it would have died out. I think he's one of the people who should be, along with Macmillan, in regards to bringing back difficult games.
Yeah.
Bringing back games that are ridiculously challenging but ridiculously rewarding.
Yeah.
And good games that are also those things.
And creating, he created something that we wanted, even if we didn't know it. And John Carmack is another one that...
Yeah, John Carmack's another one of my picks, which he's overlooked a lot. I was forgetting his last name, I'll be honest. I wanted to mention him on here specifically because of his work with id Software and bringing the first-person shooter to the table, making that a thing. That was. I mean, he worked on Wolfenstein and Doom, and then he went on to Quake. And I mean, this is and then Rage, which I'll admit I haven't played, but this is a guy who started this. Like you talked about Misaki starting that. Creating this genre.
Yeah.
He created the first-person shooter.
Another thing about it is there's extra credits did a video on this, and they were talking about how Wolfenstein and Doom are not actually 3D games.
Not 3D at all.
The way that they managed to make it look 3D and create it is brilliant programming.
And that was his programming that did it.
And John Carmack is the one who created 3D games without being able to create 3D environments.
Yes.
That blows my mind. And we didn't even know about this. Those of us outside of game development.
Yeah.
I can't even wrap my head around that. However many decades later.
Yeah, but we actually got 3D.
His vision for that, and that's why his work with VR is really important. He is a pioneer in the tech and using the tech that we have to do more than, because he understands the way that eyes work, the way that people work, and creating things that eventually catch up.
Definitely.
The tech catches up with the thing that he's already given us.
Yeah.
And that's mind-blowing and admirable.
It really is. It really is. It's understanding what your technology can do and then pushing it to its limits and trying other ways to trying things you didn't think were possible. And he did a great job of that. Last person I want to mention on here is Todd Howard. Because he has become more of a face for Bethesda. Mm-hmm. But his work on Oblivion and Skyrim and Fallout, I think, like I mentioned before, Morrowind was good, but Oblivion knocked it out of the park. And Todd Howard, in his direction when it comes to the company, he's now more of a producer and everything, but he started from the ground up. He started as a programmer, just like John Carmack, except it was only a small team at that point. Yeah. But Todd Howard started, if I'm not mistaken, with Bethesda on, I think it was Arena or the second one, and he was a programmer. So he worked his way up and became a project lead, and then just kind of continued on from there. Yeah. And his work with Bethesda has been fantastic in pushing boundaries, and also how to do storytelling and do it on your own terms. Mm-hmm. And Bethesda is one of the rare companies that you talked about Sony pumping money into companies. Bethesda is a rare company that they are allowed to take the time that they need to take with the game.
Yeah, and Bethesda has something similar to Google has a program where they'll give you some company time to work on side projects. Yeah. And Bethesda has a similar program. It's optional with Bethesda, but even in crunch, you have time to work on your own projects, and that allows them to ferment their own ideas. And some of those ideas make it into the game, some of them don't. We'll never know which ones.
I think that's important also because if you're continuing to grind through a specific problem, a specific project, you need an outlet elsewhere. Even though games are a creative outlet and creating a game is part of your outlet, you need to be able to diversify to decompress. And it also helps to figure out when you're not looking at the issue, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, your subconscious can continue to work on that.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. Yeah, so let us know in the comments what some of your favorite rock stars of gaming are, of game development. Right,
because if it was rock stars of gaming, obviously it's us.
Yeah, we are. So let us know in the comments. We'll talk to you guys later.
My sternum popped. I don't know anybody else whose sternum pops.